What's up, guys? Can you hear me? Yes? Let me make sure. All right. Can you hear me now? How about now? Yeah? Sound good? Can you guys hear me? No. Oh, yeah? All right. All right, good. Nice. Awesome. I see you guys are in the back room there.
Yeah.
That picture looks cool. Yeah. How's class going?
Good. Loving life.
This is your first week, right?
Yeah. Yep.
All right. So how's your first week going so far? You guys got any questions? Let's start with that. Let's go over if you guys have any questions from the first few days of training.
More of a broad question, but what do you think is like the number one thing that you see the most that makes people fail in this industry?
So you're breaking up a little bit. I don't know if it's the microphone there, maybe.
Can you hear us a little better? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Right there. That was good.
Just have to be a little bit closer to the computer. Can you hear us better now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. My question was just, why is this not working? Did we?
Can you hear me pretty good?
Yeah, we can hear you really well.
All right.
Yeah, so I think that's better. The question was, what do you think is the biggest thing that you see in people that makes them fail within like the first couple months of starting?
You said something about people failed the first couple months. What do
you see that people do wrong where they fail the first few months?
Yeah. Okay. So what do people do wrong in their first few months, basically, that causes them to fail? It's crazy as it sounds, man, but it's coachability is a huge thing that can really speed you up in business. If you ask some people that failed, they'll probably tell you like, yeah, I went 0 for 10 or 0 for 20 or 0 for 30. Like if you talk to Ashley Miza, she went like 0 for 30. And then if you ask her why, it's because she had to learn on her own. Meanwhile, like if you would have just done what your coach told you to do, you would have got it right the first or second time, not the 35th time. So look how much longer it took her to get that down. If you find like if you do one-on-one training, it speeds things up as well. So like let's say you were going to learn jujitsu, and this is a real life situation for me. I went and tried to learn jujitsu, and I did it for 2 years. And you can take classes where there's a bunch of people in a class, right? And you learn, or you can take one-on-one training with the black belt who owns the gym. He's a Brazilian guy from Brazil, speaks barely any English, and he's has a black belt in Brazilian jiu-jitsu. So you can take one-on-one classes with him, right? And that's $100 for an hour, I think is what he charges. So, or you could pay like $100 a month and get one class a week. So I did both. I did every Tuesday and every Friday, I would do one-on-ones with them. And then like once a week there, I went to a couple of I went to like a Saturday class or Wednesday class or Monday night class or something like that, you know. And the one-on-one training with the black belt, I got so much better, so much
Okay.
faster with the one-on-one training than in the group settings. However, I feel both of them were beneficial, and I think a good mix of them was good. So, you know, same thing in business, you know, and you're going to be able to fast forward your progression and how good you get by, you know, getting yourself involved into those group sessions as much as possible, because you learn when you don't even think you're learning. And then also making sure you're getting some one-on-one time with your uplines, you know, and with other mentors in the business and in the industry, you know, because they're only a stone throw away, where there's 2 or 3 degrees of separation between you and the top person in his company, you know. So but I think it's 3 things that you can control that require no skill set. These things really mess people up. Like if they don't win, it says attitude, coachability, and effort. You know, you don't have to have any skill set at all to have a good attitude, you know, or to be coachable, or to have a good work ethic, you know, effort, to put in a good hard effort. You don't have to like go to school and graduate with a doctorate degree, or, you know, have to go to training for the next 6 months in order to learn how to give good effort. You know, there's no skill sets involved for that. So those are things that you can control. And I think sometimes people focus on in their first few months, they'll focus on things that they can't control, and then they start losing on the things that they can't control. And you wonder why do they have a bad attitude? Why are they losing their coachability? You know, why they have a bad work ethic? You know, what's going on here? And a lot of times is they're not focusing on those things. If you focus on those 3 things, a lot of times the other stuff takes care of itself. So I always try to win in the things that I could control at. Coachability is the biggest thing in the beginning. You know, it really is. You can't control a lot, especially when you're new. So, and you have to commit to the process and understand you have to give 100 presentations. That's no joke. And some people think it's a joke. I think they think it's just like this, and it's a real thing. It really is. And when you hit your 100, everybody here will tell you it's a whole new world. You literally feel like nothing can stop you at that point. You've seen it all pretty much by then. And by no means are you even close to a professional. And you got to commit to saying, you know, I want to be a professional, you know, at this industry, in this business. You know, uh, it takes 10,000 hours to do that. So, you know, we have to know that we're going to be looking at 80 hours a week would take well, how many years would that take? 80 hours a week. Well, how about this? 40 hours a week at 10,000 hours would take 5 years, I think. 40 hours a week, it's 2,000 hours a year. Yeah, it'd take 5 years. So 80 hours a week would take about 2.5 years, you know? So, you know, I graduated, I put my first year out of college, I worked as a financial advisor. I worked 80 hours a week. My second year, I worked 80 hours a week. My third year, I worked 80 hours a week. So I got that professional certification of being a professional in the industry, at least, you know. But, and then again, it's like saying I was boxing for 80 hours a week for 2.5 years. I did boxing. Okay, you might be a professional boxer, all right, but you're not a professional at your jab, because you only did that for 10 hours a week, you know. So now you start breaking it. You said, all right, so I'm a professional of the industry, but what do you then I go into life insurance, you know. Like, are you a professional at life insurance? Because when I was a financial advisor, I was doing mutual funds, stocks, retirement accounts, long-term care, all different types of life insurance policies, disability policies, budgeting, legacy planning, dealing with tax planning, there was a lot. So like, I can't even say I was a professional at retirement planning or professional of life insurance or professional of investments or professional of this, because I might have did 10,000 hours of a financial advisor, but not 10,000 hours of that, you know? So it's like, then you can really start breaking it down even more, and to whatever craft that you want to, even if it was baseball, you can say you might be a professional baseball player, but you're not a professional at hitting the fastball, because you haven't spent 10,000 hours on just the fastball. You haven't spent 10,000 hours on a curveball, so you could even break it down even more. Let's like in here, like how I can't, am I a professional? I want to think about it.
Probably.
Have I spent 10,000 hours on, I want to think about it, So that's when you could really get into the career and say, wow, this can really get to a point where you like can be some crazy. And the same thing with jujitsu. It gets to a point where you're just like some ninja, like nothing, it's like nothing can even touch you. So that's kind of like the business. If you got to commit to the process and stick with it and just know that you know what a black belt is, right?
Yeah.
Anybody know what a black belt is? It's a white belt that never gave up. That's all it is.
You said you did 2 years. Did you get a blue belt or what?
They gave me the stripes, and he told me I pretty much could have been a blue belt. I was beating like I was better than blue belts. I just had this natural, like, I'm like, he's crazy. I said, you got, yeah. I mean, I go to these classes with the blue belts and I'd be like, it'd be like nothing to me.
Yeah, I did jujitsu for like a year and a half. So as soon as you said that, I was like, yeah, I love jujitsu.
Yeah, it's awesome. I had to get surgery on my face. Like, I had like, I don't know, this mole on my face, and I had to take it off, and I couldn't go for at least a month. And I got used to being not sore, and I liked it.
Yeah.
He's like, when are you gonna come back? And I was like, you know what? Let me see something here. And I was like, you know what? I'm not sore. There's no bruises all over me. Because he would take my arms, he'd grab my arm like this, and he'd stick his foot right here, and he's like, and I'd come home and I literally was just 24/7. Because on Tuesday he would do that to me. And then Friday I'd finally like be a little bit better. And then I'd go at 2:00 and I'd get hammered. Then my whole weekend was ruined. Then finally Tuesday came around. I'm finally feeling like a little bit better, and it's back to just getting hammered. And he said, he said this. He said, everybody is the nail, and eventually they become the hammer. Everybody starts as the nail, and eventually they become the hammer. But it didn't help that he was like 6'5" and he was huge. It was tough for me, but it was learning. It was good.
One last question for you. What was the hardest thing for you when you first started?
The hardest thing. What was the hardest thing? I don't know. They say you got to give up who you are for who you want to become.
Yeah.
So, that was a process, and it's kind of like painful. And you got to figure that out along the way. You don't even know what it is half the time. You're trying to figure it out. And then having faith. Like, the hardest thing was just when things would get bad, I just had to just hang in there and have faith and know that it gets darkest before the dawn. Right? So you have to know that when it gets dark, that means it's about to get light. So there's been situations where, I had personal issues, but you got to think like, man, I'm telling you, like, if you work here, if you're a quarterback of New England Patriots right now, okay, and whatever you did right now, if you were a baker, if you were a doctor, in 5 years, okay, if something happens in your family, that was going to happen no matter what. It didn't matter if you were the New England Patriots quarterback or not. You know, your mom's birthday is going to happen. Your aunt, your grandma, they're going to get married. There's going to be anniversaries. Your nephew's going to graduate. There's going to be a graduation party. And if you're the CEO of Microsoft, and you have to be in New York, you know what I mean, and you have to be on top of the building, meeting with people, but your grandson, your godson, your niece, your nephew, your cousin's son, your sister's son is graduating and has a big graduation party back in over here. Where's Tom Brady going to have to be?
New York.
Is he going to play in the Super Bowl or go to the graduation party?
Super Bowl.
Is he going to be at the funeral or is he going to be at the Super Bowl?
Super Bowl.
That's the decisions that, when you say tough for me, those are the things and decisions I had to make to tell myself, if you want to be Tom Brady, you got to be Tom Brady. So I had to realize that if every Easter, if every Christmas, if every New Year's, if every birthday, if every anniversary, if every graduation party, if every fireworks display, if every tailgate party, if every Steeler game, if every Pirate game, if every time Johnny had his surprise birthday party at the fucking bar on the South Side, if I had to be at every single one of those things, I would never work. I'd never work. Literally, when would I work? I'd be missing 3 days a week. I think they said there's over like 50 or 60 holidays or something a year. That's like one a week. Something crazy like that. Literally, you miss 1 day a week if I just did normal holidays, let alone all the other stuff. And I got Jewish friends. I'm not Jewish, but then they want to have a lox and what do they call that? Latkes. Latke and vodka party. My friend has latke and vodka, right? You know what latkes are? No?
Yeah, they're like these like little thingies. I don't remember exactly what they're called, but yeah, half my family's Jewish, so
They're like potato pancakes.
yeah.
They're amazing. They're so good. So he has a lot of, but dude, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, people celebrate other people's stuff too. So, I mean, you could really get, if you want to celebrate, every day could be a celebration for you if you wanted to find stuff to celebrate, you know? So, so that was something that, you know, I had to learn over the years is I had to learn that if my mom's birthday is on Tuesday, but I have to work on Tuesday, then you just say, hey, Mom, we'll celebrate Sunday. Stuff like that. Normal stuff that any other person would do if they played in the NFL. You know, so you have to put yourself, like, if you want to make that NFL money, make the CEO money, you got to do stuff to where, dude, just because her birthday is on Tuesday doesn't mean I don't love her, that I didn't have cake with her on Tuesday, you know? We'll do it on Sunday. We'll do it on Sunday. We'll do it bigger than we would have did it on Tuesday. So, you know, but my family knew coming into business, like, it's funny that it would be like this. And this is how it should be for you, okay? Everybody needs to know that you're the leader. You're the man of the house. You're taking this family to the next level. My family knew, because I took this opportunity. I took it right home with them, and I drew it up. I showed it to them. I went over it with them and over it with them, and they supported me, and they knew where we were going. But the heck was I going to tell you guys? Oh man, I can't remember what I was going to tell you. I know. Well, I tell you this: my family supported me. You know, they supported me the whole time, which was important. You need to have the people need to be. You probably heard this before, but you need your family. You know, especially your if you have a spouse or significant other, they need to have your back, not be on your back, right? So that's something I've had to recite that multiple times to, you know, my significant. I said, babe, I need you to have my back. I can't have you on my back right now. I got enough on my shoulders as it is. You know, I got enough on my plate, right? I need you to be on my side, not on my back. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Vince even asked me that question during our interview.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you know, hey, here's something that somebody told me before. They said, you know, Tommy, not every man was meant to handle a full plate.
Absolutely.
That made me think. I was like, oh, I was like, hope you ain't talking about me. You know, I never want that to be me. I never want that to be me where people are like, oh, he got too much on his plate. No, no, put it on my plate. I can handle it. I handle it. You know, I don't want to be the one where like, oh, he can't handle what's on his plate. You know, no. So, because be careful what you wish for. You know, the there's two stresses in the business. You know, you can be stressed out because you don't got nothing going on. You can't got nobody on your schedule. You don't got nobody coming in for interviews. Your team's not growing. Your business is moving slow, right? You don't have no meetings because there's really nothing to even talk about, right? That's stressful because probably not making much money. On the other hand, you got the other guy over here. He got to have a meeting with this person because these people here are arguing. He got to make sure that these people, this one over here, he got a game plan the next week. They have a big meeting next week. He got to meet with his 3 agents over here that are brand new. They're about to start next week. He got script review over here. He got 4 appointments. He got 5 interviews. He's like, oh my God, how am I going to do all this? This is stressful as hell. Well, what do you pick one? What do you want, buddy? What do you want? The perfect world? You're gonna be stressed either way. So you got to pick. I'm gonna go that way. If I could pick my stress, just bring it on. Let's get it done. Let's get through it as quick as possible. You know, get through the mess. So, you know, with your family, there's something else I wanted to mention to you guys, and it's slipping my tongue right now. Slipping my tongue. Yeah, but I hope that answers your question a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, good. What else, man? Reed?
That was mainly like what our question, you know, like what would you struggle with like in the beginning, and like what did you do like differently to like change your mindset in those aspects, you know, to better yourself, not just in the business but as a person as well. Like what?
So you said what I do to better myself in business and
Like,
as a person, or
yeah, like as a person too. Like that was just like our main goal was like to see like, you know, where we can go wrong, where we shouldn't go wrong right now. Because obviously it's like really overwhelming with like, you know, taking in all this information. Like there's multiple places where you can go wrong, whether it's like not knowing the business, not knowing how to like do this trade, or just like, you know, just being trained properly as well.
yeah. So you know, that's a lot. It's like drinking from a fire hose, is what they say, right? Fire extinguisher, fire, you know, hydrant, and the way you take, you know, the way you eat an elephant is one bite at a time, you know, one step at a time, and that's why you got to trust the process. That's why they say that, man. And you know, you have to trust the process. You have to know that as long as you do this step, and for me, I had to build a grill. I wish I could pull up a video. I did a video about this. I had to build my grill. I built my grill all by myself. And I'm like, man, I'm gonna have to call and hire somebody to build this grill, because the last thing I want to do is turn this sucker on and blow my whole house up or something. You know, I don't know. I have no business building a grill. Okay. But I opened up the thing and it said there's 27 steps. And I thought to myself, I said, 27 steps ain't that bad. It's at least not 100. And then I said to myself, if I do every step the way that it says that to be done, and I'll double check them and triple check them, and then I move on to the next step. If I do every step by step, by the end, I should have a grill built. There should be a grill in front of me. So what this whole directions is telling me, right? The only way that I pick my head up at the end of this thing and there's no grill is either A, if I didn't do the directions properly, right?
Yeah.
Or B, the person who wrote the directions gave me bad directions, right? And I'm thinking, there's no way that they would sell people bad directions for a grill. That could be dangerous. So I trusted in it. So I said, I'm going to do it. And if it doesn't work out, you know what? It's my fault. I probably messed up one of these steps. One thing I can't do is do step 1, do step 2. But when it gets to step 3, it says I need to use a Allen wrench, right? I hate using Allen wrenches. Hate them. I don't agree with them. Blah, 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 right? So I skip step 3 and I just go to step 4 because I like step 4. Step 4 is an easy one. I get to just stick the pieces together. And I go to step 5. I do everything else, but I skip step 3 because I hate that. I don't agree with it. And that's just something I don't like to do. Well, at the end, I'm probably not going to have the grill put together the right way, right? So I have to do it step by step, and I can't skip the things I don't like. I have to do every step exactly the way it says, just like if you're making a recipe, you can't change shit around. You can't put salt where it says to put sugar. And you're like, oh, you know what? It says to bake it for 1 hour at 400 degrees, right? And you go like this. You go like 1 hour, 400 degrees. Watch this. I'm going to bake it for a half hour at 800 degrees, and I'm going to get mine done in a half hour. Do you think it's going to come out the same? Half hour, 800 degrees versus an hour at 400?
No.
There's a rhyme and a reason for everything. And sometimes we want to outsmart the system or just don't want to do stuff. It's just wacky, basically, straight whack, guys. That's why people fail, is they're not coachable. I got to keep going back to it. They might have never played sports. My son is so damn coachable. It's probably one of the things I'm most proud of him. He got the award last year in school for the most friendliest kid in class. And if you talk to his wrestling coach, he's like, Tommy, I tell him to do something, he does it like this. We're in the middle of a match. He's in the middle of a match. And he's telling him to do something that they've never worked on before, ever. Never worked on it before. And he's listening and doing it. He's like, it's amazing. Absolutely amazing. So yeah, that's why he won. That's why he won. Because he's coachable, honest to God. So I think some people might have never come from a background where they never had to be coachable. They don't understand the severity of you're not listening. You get your head smashed into the mat. That's what happens. Like my son learned the hard way. He's like, he didn't listen. He gets his head smashed in the mat. So I say, hey, you see this on video? You see how you do it? Remember I told you what to do? You didn't do it. You see what happened? You didn't like that, huh? No, you listen to me. Watch what happens. So anytime I tell him something, huh? Right?
I like my face.
So the kids, they learn at such a young age. What a brilliant thing. If you can get your kids into wrestling, it's one of the best things they could learn for them for the rest of their lives. Best thing. He's coachable now, and he knows that there's severe repercussions if you are not coachable, and he learned it physical hard way at a young age. So blessed for him. Hopefully in the rest of his life, if he's blessed to have a great coach in business or a great coach in whatever he is doing, that he's going to be actually coachable to that coach. And he's going to appreciate that, So some people just have that. Some people don't have that background. So I feel bad for them because they try to skip the things they don't like to do, Like if the workout says you got to do all of these, you got to do all the things in the workout. You can't skip the ones you don't like to do. And they want to do that. Or they, what else? what's another reason why they try to outsmart the system. They think that they got a better way when that's just not even making any sense at all. So, anyways, I think people try and do that, and then they end up hurting themselves. Remember, they say, if you take a shortcut in the training, and that's like same thing. If I take a shortcut in building my grill, your results get cut short. Or they say like, if you want to cut the corners, you ever hear of corner cutters?
Yeah.
Those are the people that didn't touch the line when they did the sprints. And they think that they're getting away with something. You're only hurting yourself, as my son would say, you ding dong. I mean, really, who are you hurting? Who you think you're getting away with? You're only cheating yourself, really. So those corner cutters, they say, if you cut the corners are going to cut you. And I'm telling you, and that goes back to putting all the pressure on the system. And the people who fell, they didn't put the pressure on the system. They put the pressure on themselves. So the key, you can't put pressure on a system that you don't know about. You have to understand the system and know the system, and you got to run the system, and you have to run it with faith, because you don't have to know the rhyme and reason and exactly all the reasons why we're running toss right. You just got to know how to run toss right and run the best damn toss right, because that's what the coach called. You don't even need to know why we're running it at this stage of the game, and I think sometimes newer agents, they'll lack in the coachability area. Things that you can control are also, they think about this for a second. We're in a business now that most people in the world that work, they don't work for themselves. They're usually an employee, right? Most of the world are employees. The majority are employees, right?
Yeah.
So when they come here, when you come work here, you're no longer an employee. You are your own boss. So you work for yourself. A lot of people aren't used to that. And then a lot of people aren't used to sales. And part of sales is no sales. And no sales means you got told no. So everybody thinks it's called sales. Actually, they should probably call it no sales, because you're getting told no more than you're getting told yes. We're not even in the sales business. We're in the getting told no business. and no, you're not used to that. Before you came here, how often you get told no? Think about it. Most people are walking through life. How often are they really getting told no on a daily basis? Not much. So when you come here, you're already put into an atmosphere where you're gonna get rejection. You're gonna get told no. So you're a business owner. You are in sales, which is basically we're in getting told no business. And most people want to handle rejection too well. We work different hours. We get paid differently, right? So all those things, for people that are new, that are coming in, you have to rely on the system, and you have to put the pressure on the system, because there's no rhyme or reason why you should put any pressure on yourself at this stage of the game, because you really don't have any experience in the business. And that's why I tell you, when people, they put the pressure on themselves, there's so many reasons why that's just not a good idea. But the reason why we don't want to put the pressure on the system is faith, trust the process. Trust the process. I can guarantee you guys, like my dad said, he said, get into the financial services industry and just be there 10, 20 years from now. Just get into the financial services and just make sure 20 years from now, you're still there. That's what he told me. He says, just get in there and then don't get out of it. Just make sure you're still there. And he said it's like a snowball effect. And when you think about a snowball, it starts at the top of the hill and it starts out like a little snowball. So how fast is it going to roll? Not very fast, and it's just going to pick up snow slowly, small, slow, small, still slow and small. But as it gets a little bit bigger, it actually is going to move a little bit faster and it picks up momentum. But now if you think about it, I got a bigger ball that's moving faster. So think about how much faster and how much more snow and how much bigger it's building compared to the first part. It's what's called exponential numbers in comparison. And that's what happens in this business, with your business, with the book of business. The only way you don't get residual income is if you quit. So you just stay and you last and you build and it grows. In the first year that I was here, it was like after a year, you don't get much in your first year, it just builds. People are getting them now bigger and faster more than ever. I can't believe some of the stuff. It took me about a year, but after a year, I was getting about $1,000 a month. After 2 years, it was like $2,000 a month. 3 years, it was $3,600 a month. All my bills were $3,600 a month. And I was getting $3,600 a month. It was perfect because I was like, all my bills are paid before I wake up. Now all the money that I make on a weekly basis, I can put that back into the business and get the business growing even more. So after 7 years, my residual income was 10 grand. After 10 years, it was about 18 grand. And 12 years in, we're over $22,000 a month. So you could see how at the beginning, it only grew from like 1,000 to 2,000 and from 2,000 to 3,000. But if you think year 7, I was getting 10 grand. In year 10, I was getting 18 grand. Do you see that? 3 years, it went up 8 grand in 3 years. And then the next 2 years, it went up another 4 grand. So you can see how it grows more exponentially the longer that you're here. It's like a snowball. It's crazy. It's great. So I think, what I went over with you guys on Monday in training class is like the most important stuff for you to know. You have to know the numbers inside and out. You have to know them inside and out. And that's going to allow you to move through the business and navigate, how fast, how far you want to go by certain periods of time. And, I just went in and put my pedal to the metal and went as fast as I possibly could go. It took me about 8 months to become an MGA. So, my first month I came in, I wrote, 24,000, recruited a bunch of people. Right now you guys can get to 750 per person. I recruited 10 people my first month, 10 people my second month, 10 people my third month. And my team, all of a sudden, these people start passing their test and coming in, and my team started growing. Because you can recruit 10 people, but they still got to pass their test and come through. That takes, you got to think, if you hired somebody today, it would take them a good month or 2 before they actually would start. So that's why I also got hiring on the hiring process early in my career, is because I was like, well, I don't want to start to be a supervisor and then look around and be like, now what? Oh, I got to go find people and then wait another 2 months for them to come in. So I got the people when I was in July and August. And then when I was in management, I was a GA by September. And I had a bunch of people coming in the door and the team was growing. We didn't get no bonus though. I didn't get 750. There was no bonus. All you got was an opportunity to grow your business and be in leadership. So, I brought them in. The supervisor bonus was 25%. Now it's 125%, just to show you what kind of growth the company's had, how much better the company is. When I was at RGA, my bonus was 20%.
I think it's online.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, it cut out for a little bit. I think it's the Wi-Fi.
Okay.
problem.
Yeah. Well, when I was a supervisor, my bonus was 25% of my agent's bonus.
Yeah.
So if you got a bonus, I would get 25% of that. But you would get the whole bonus though.
Yeah.
That was the most they would ever give you. You can't get no more than that. Now today, if you get a bonus and I'm your supervisor, I get 125% of that. They didn't have that opportunity back in the day. When I'm a GA, my bonus as a GA was 50%. Now you can get up to 135% as a GA. As an RGA, whenever you're an RGA, so you got to think about this. When you become an MGA now, an MGA, you are the master general agent. You're making $4,000 or $5,000 a week, plus even more than that. On some bigger weeks, we have some big weeks. Sometimes you go write some personal business. You got a superstar that goes out there and crushes it. You're getting 100% bonus on everybody on your team. So literally, if you whoever's on your team and they get a bonus, you get the same bonus. So, and it's fun. It's fun because you get to compete. You get to put sometimes you're just competing against yourselves. You know, sometimes you guys are like, all right, what's our goal this week? Johnny, what do you want to do? He's like, I want to do 5. I want to do 6. You want to do, all right, well, the team goal adds up to 50. That's our number this week, guys. It's us versus 50,000, and you're the coach. And you got to get the team to hit all their goals, you know, because Pete needs to hit his 50,000. He needs to hit his $5,000 for the week because that's his goal. He needs to hit that because that's what he's going to need to buy his boat and take his family on vacation or whatever he needs. You know, Sally needs to write her 6,000 because she wants to, you know, buy a new dog or something like that. So everybody has their own rhyme or reason why they need to do it. And your job as a coach is to get everybody to their goals, you know. Sometimes you might be competing with another team just for the heck of it. Hey, it's going to be us versus, you know, Johnny's team this week. Us versus Johnny's team, you know. And the winner and the winners get ice cream. So you better believe we're going to win the ice cream Sunday social that we're doing or whatever. So you could do cool stuff like that. You know, losers buy pizza. Say, hey, we're not buying them pizza. They're going to buy us pizza. You might have some competition. So you get to coach your team up, whatever. But when you're the MGA, you know, it's everything, man. You got to put it all together. You put this thing together, you know, you're the glue. You made it happen. So when you're the MGA though, it's nice, you know, but your job now is to not sit back and make $5,000 a week. Your job is to now, because you're at the top of the mountain. The view is nice, but you look around and you realize you didn't bring anybody with you. It's just you and your girl. That was me. I became an MGA. I was making $5,000, $6,000 a week. I was loving life. I was home every Friday. Saturday mornings, I would wake up and we would like make bacon and eggs. It was the weirdest thing ever. Because I never did that shit. Saturday morning, I was out the door by 6 o'clock, like going to my appointments. You know, my area was Johnstown. I lived in Pittsburgh. It was 2 hours from my house. And then my first appointment was at 8 o'clock in the morning and I had to bring donuts. So if you live, your first appointment is at 8, 2 hours away, you have to bring donuts. I had to be out the door by 6 Saturday mornings. And I'd be running around going to appointments all day. That was my life all the way up for forever, for 5, 6 years out of college until I was about 27. And I remember I made this money and I was home at the same time. Like I could see making the money, but also grinding. Like you made $5,000, but also you worked 90 hours this week. Okay, that makes sense. But I made $5,000 and we went to the movies on Friday night and we woke up and made bacon and eggs, you know, and like went to the gym and went to the grocery store. It was like weird, you know? And I just remember thinking that, all right, it's a great view up here, but now I got to go back down and I got to bring other people up. But the cool thing is imagine you went to the top of a mountain. That means you know the path. You did it. So what's so hard about going back down and just showing everybody else the same path? So that was my mentality, is I just got to go I got to get a lot of people up here. So for the next, soon as I got there, I was like, this is awesome. And it's not even that bad for this view and that climb and the investment and what it took me to get here, to have this for the rest of your life, to make $250,000 for the rest of your life. What's 2 years of sacrifice? You can honestly take me. I told this to myself. I said, you better be willing to put your money where your mouth is. I will do whatever. You could literally do anything you want. Tell me whatever you want for 2 years. So I went like this. I was like, you can send me to China, stick me on a barge, and your job and my job is to shovel garbage on a barge in China for the next 2 years for 18 hours a day. I would do it. And I can't talk to my family or see them for 2 years. If I come back, you're going to pay me $250,000 a year for the rest of my life? Sign me up. Like, that's the extent of the mental approach that I took to the business. So as long as I'm not really on a barge in China shoveling garbage, anything was better than that. I had nothing to complain about. And the thing is, when you come back from, going in, you're going to come back 2 years. You do it the right way. It shouldn't take you 2 years. It shouldn't take you 2 years. I think like we got Reich on a good situation, man. He pretty much next year, I mean, this year, he'll probably make a good 200 plus, in his first full year with the company. That wasn't even a full year last year. Last year was like preseason. So that's exciting. That's because of the company. It's amazing that they changed things around, made it a lot better right now. So, someone can come in their first full year, second year in a business and do that. So that's going to be your next goal is once you become an MGA, you have to develop other people to MGAs, and then you become their RGA, right? Well, an MGA gets 100% of everybody on their team's bonus. So whenever the MGA gets their bonus, their RGA gets the same bonus. When I became an RGA, I would get 20% of my MGA's bonus. 20%.
It's a huge change, yeah.
Today,
it's a big difference.
Today starts them at 90. If you have one MGA, you get 90% of their bonus. If you have two MGAs, you get 95. If you have three, you get 100. If you have four, you get 105. If you develop 5 MGAs and you're an RGA over 5 MGAs, you get 110% of all of their bonuses.
That's great.
Yeah, that's why I was making $20,000 a week as an RGA, because I had my MGAs rocking and rolling with the company. So,
do you get overrides if you're a benefits rep? Do you get overrides on, like, if you bring people in? Do you get overrides on things that they sell, or do you have to be an SA first?
yes, you have to be an SA.
Okay.
Yep, and they have to be coded to you. Yep.
Okay.
So that's like, when you talk about we're this guy who was a pitcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates is interviewing with us, and he don't know nothing. He goes like this. He's like, this seems like it's kind of like he said this seems like it's an MLM, multi-level marketing. And I had to explain to him. I said, well, first of all, MLM, that stands for multi-level marketing. So that means that you have people that are marketing things. They're out there marketing things, And there's a multi-levels, which means that there's no end to the process. So that means I can bring in my sister, she can bring in her best friend, they can bring in her dad, and he can bring in his uncle, they can bring in the guy at the car wash, and he can bring in the landscaper, and everybody is under everybody, and there's multiple levels until forever upon ever, right? That's what a multi-level marketing company is, okay? We do not market anything, okay? And there are not multi-levels over here. This is a life insurance company that is in the financial services industry. We're publicly traded on the New York Stock Exchange. In fact, we are the largest life insurance company in the United States of America. If you want to get promoted with our company, yes, you can earn promotions, but we only promote from within. And those promotions are performance-based and results-based. You know, what else do I say? So, you know, if somebody talks about a multi-level marketing, you know, we're not even close to that at all. You know, not even close to that. But I had to tell him, I had to put him in his place because he was, you know, obviously uneducated and blurting out things that he has no understanding of. You know, multi-level marketing is like Amway or something like that. So I don't even know how we got on that, but figured I'd mention it. It just happened recently. He was a pitcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates. So I'll still try and get him on. I'm trying to recruit him. So yeah, you guys got any other questions on anything from this week? I mean, you guys had class on Tuesday with Casey, you know, Wednesday, I think you were like Vince, you were with Drew, I think this week, right?
Yeah.
How did all that work out? It was good?
It was very good.
Yeah, Drew's like script or the things that he was talking about is a lot different than ours. So you kind of like had to not like take it with a grain of salt, but like see his perspective of it and like how he approaches it, and then kind of try to tailor it to ours. So
Okay.
Vince was really good. He did very good with rapport, and then Casey was really good too.
Okay. All right,
It's like
good.
learning the different perspectives because there's obviously multiple like ways that they see things. You know, like the way Drew was explaining stuff is obviously like a little bit different from our script, but it was more like it was the same stuff. It was just like a different perspective, and like the way he explained everything was like a new way that we've been getting it explained than how like we would have got it from Vince or right. So it helps a lot. Like 'cause the more you know, the obviously the better you're gonna be. And like learning how the actual like system works itself in multiple different ways is going to help you so much more. Rather than just going it one way and going that same way every single time. Obviously, it helps knowing that every single way you can do it.
Yeah, yeah. Now you're gonna see that if you keep it simple, keep it to, you know, stick to the script and everything, over time you're gonna learn more. You know, and the more you know, the more confident you're gonna feel. But you really want to still keep it simple for the client. What happens a lot of times here, you asked me this question before, and this kind of ties in a little bit, is sometimes people will get released, like they'll be able to go through training and then they finally get their leads, they're out on their own, they become an agent, they hit their first milestone. And they're out there, they're going for their 100 presentations. And I'll give, you know, two examples, but the first one is, let me think how to explain this, is they do well. They do well. You know, Christina.
Yeah. Yeah.
She came right out the gates and never even had an issue. Like she's not a story of like, well, she struggled her first month or blah, blah. No, because she was very coachable, did everything that Gio told her to do pretty much, you know? But the concern sometimes is I see that happen a lot where people, you want to know why? Because they don't know anything else. All that you know is what you learned over the last 2 weeks. You don't know anything else. So you can't really, it's not like you can say the wrong thing or say it because you only know like this is all you know what to say right now. So they say that and it works. Okay. Then what happens is a month, 2 months go by, 3 months go by, and they learn all kind of other stuff, which is good. But they start adding it in and changing it, and almost the presentation that they were originally giving is no longer there anymore. Like I've seen an agent that 2 or 3 months after I'm done training, I train them personally. They do fine. And then all of a sudden I'm training other people, but I circle back around with this person, and it's a month, 2 months have gone by, and I find out they had a bad week. Like, what happened? How'd you see 10 people and not one of them enrolled? Like, what's going on? So I go and look at their presentation, and their presentation is like 95% of it is completely off. Like 5% of the original presentation that me and that person trained on is still there. 95 of it is like whack. I'm like, where did you get all this stuff? You know? Oh, well, I did a workshop with, Vince, and he was saying this, and Gio was saying this, and Drew was saying this, and Casey was saying this, and Josh was saying this. So I just mushed it all into one. And I called it supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. So that, I think that sometimes that'll happen where it was good and then it just went too much. Another thing is they do TMI now. All this stuff. So then you go in there and you give the client all the stuff. Well, they don't need all the stuff. They just needed to know like the bare minimum, the key points. And it's too much information. And you think it makes you look smarter. You don't need to tell them how smart you are. They should know how smart you are by the way you carry yourself, by the way you handle yourself. It's like if you're with a girl, you don't need to tell her how rich you are. Like you pick her up, you're like, hey, this is just one of my cars, by the way, and afterwards I have 3 houses, but we'll just go to one of them. I have a vault at the bank. They keep all my jewelry there. I could take you to the Gucci store. They know me by name over there. I'll tell you what, this and that. And like, she's like, damn, bro, slow your roll. If you're the man, you don't need to tell me you're the man. Right. So when you're in the home, I think sometimes sometimes people get to a point where they feel like they need to tell them they're the man, when that needs to just be already assumed. You're already a licensed professional. You already have their benefit packet. You've been doing this, you've met with a bunch of people, you're meeting with a bunch more people. And people just, sometimes is you're going to be very uncomfortable and not very confident for your first 100 presentations, and people don't like that, and then they quit. That's why they quit, because they're not comfortable with being uncomfortable. So, hey, that you asked me a question before, what was one of the hardest things for me? It was hard for me to deal with the uncomfortableness of it, because I wasn't comfortable with it. Just period. Just like holding a golf club. The first time I went golfing, I just hold a normal golf club like I held a baseball bat. I don't know if you know, it's not really the right way to hold a golf club. You don't hold a golf club like a baseball bat. But I did, and then they were telling me, you got to take your fingers and take this finger and stick it through this finger. I don't know if you guys have been taught that before, but this is how they told me to hold the thing. You try and hold a golf club like that when you never held anything in your life like that. It was extremely uncomfortable, and I didn't feel very confident in even doing that motion. So, but now I can't swing a golf club without doing that, So it might have took me 100 golf swings in order to get through all of that. That's the same kind of process here. We can't get mad after 30 because we don't feel comfortable or confident. We can't get mad after 70, you know, it's going to take 100, you know? So I think those are some definitely key things to steer clear, look out for. You know, obviously don't hang around with anybody that's negative. That ain't gonna help you, you know, and your first, you know, 90 days, you want to hang around with people that are gonna lift you up. And, you know, like I said, stay in your upline's ear, get one-on-one time with people that are, you know, just already doing things that you want to be doing. You know, and if you can look around in this operation, you could see somebody making the money you want to make and living the life you want to live and doing things you want to do, then you know it's possible for you. You know, I remember, you know, one of the guys I worked for, or one of my mentors, he had a bad week, bad month. He was like, I don't know if this is right for me, and his mom told him that. His mom said, "Is it look around and is there somebody there that, you know, is making the money that you want to make and living the life you want to live, doing the things you want to do? Because if there's somebody else there doing it, then you can do it too." So anyways, for your second week next week, to prepare you guys, you know, you should be really diving into the second half of your presentation. This week is mastering the first half. Next week is mastering the second half. So if two things I would do is just make sure that you really got the first half mastered. So go over it, just get it down, know where you know, the whole process, and then get ready for the second half, you know, as well. You know, top of my head, what you'll be doing next week, you'll be meeting with Josh on Monday, and he'll start the second half of the presentation. So that's where, you know, you go through all the no cost benefits. Typically one of the last no cost benefits is the family information guide, you know, or the free will kits. We'll go over that. After you go over that, then we dive into the difference between whole life and term. And we go over filling out the needs analysis with the client. So after we go over that, then we're going to go over on Tuesday. I'll be with you guys going over how to proactively handle rebuttals. I actually got a really good recording I did on that the other day, so I might even have that up for us on proactively handling rebuttals. It's good stuff. And then after that, then we're going to go into closing them down. So showing them their need, closing them down, and assuming the sale, filling out the applications. You guys should be practicing filling out the apps by now, right? Do you have eApp on your computers?
I have EAP, but I haven't really done anything in it, to be honest, with any of my managers yet. So they've shown me how it works, but we haven't really practiced it yet.
Okay. Well, we're going to end early here. Make sure that you take this extra time, because technically we should be going till about 3 today, but I'm going to end early. Take your time that we get out of here, and make sure you have eApp on your laptops.
Okay.
You know, and if you don't, like, for instance, I don't know, maybe you have a MacBook, or it won't have a plan to get the eApp on there at least, but like, it don't take long. You could, if you have time now, you could probably just get it in, get it on there. Okay. Because I don't want you too far behind on your applications. You know, the worst thing would be is if you get to the end of a presentation and the client says yes, and you're like, oh shit, now what? You know? And you want to look like you've been there before, right?
Yeah.
You don't want it to be painful and long and drawn out at the same time, right? You want to look like you're a professional. You fill these things out all the time, you know? Plus, they're going to be trusting you with $100, $250, $300 a month for the rest of their lives. So you don't want to be like, okay, I just gotta pull up the application here for you guys. Yeah, cool. pull it up here. Okay, so you said your name was Pat, right? Pat. Is that P-A-T, right? Okay. And the last name was Johnson. Okay. That's J-O-N or H-H-H-N or N? What's a John's? John? H-H-N-S. Oh, wait, that's Patrick. Patrick. Okay. Hold on. Let me go back. Patrick. R-I-C-K. Yep.
Yep.
All right. And then it's John's son, right? Okay. All right. Great. Okay. All right. When were you born again? Do you see how painful this can be, guys?
Yeah.
Are you guys wanting to pull your eyebrows out?
Yeah.
Please, guys, this is serious shit what I'm going over with you right now.
Yeah.
This is so serious that the CEO of our company went over this with us the other day. He sat in on a presentation and someone made a sale and he wanted to pull. He said, I couldn't, I had to leave the room. He had to leave the room. He said it was painful. That's like, that's our tools. We got to be good with our tools. That's like a carpenter, like being really slow with their tools. You know, we got to be good with this thing. So that's why I really want you guys to get your e-app on there now. Don't wait to try and learn that when you're in the home making a sale. You know, that should be the, you know, that you should have gone over it multiple times. So, you know, what I'd say is fill out a couple applications a day, just practice, so that by the time you are out on your own, you've already filled out like 25 applications already, you know, fake ones, false ones, just practice ones, you know. So trust me, I mean, you can lose sales that way. You know, you lose people's confidence in you that way. Like, oh, I don't know if I want to give this guy $200 a month for the rest of my life, you know? Yeah. And let alone getting referrals too. You know, oh, I don't want to send them over to see my sister if she's got to put up with this. You know? So that's why getting that e-app down is really, really, really important for you guys too. So definitely take some time, get that knocked out today, guys. And then, you know, if you need anything, just hit your managers up this weekend. Monday is going to be a great agency meeting. So, you know, get everybody hyped up for that. If you got some personals, if you want to get them to like sit in, like, let's say you wanted to bring somebody into the business, you don't have to just like bring them right in for an interview. You can have them sit in on the company agency meeting, in their agency meeting on Monday, and just sit in and hang out and see if, you know, you like the culture a little bit. What I would also do is I would bring them to lunch or a dinner or something with my manager, you know, so it doesn't always have to be, you know, straight into the business. But yeah, I'll see you guys on Monday for sure. Cool.
Yes,
All right. Thank
Thanks
you
so much for your
boys.
time, Tommy.
Yeah. Thank you, man.
Hey, you got it, man. Let's rock. Have a great weekend.
Absolutely.
Thank you. You too.
All right. See ya.